He nodded. Pepper never saw a person he didn't want to bark at. He patted Pepper's head. I know you're making quilts today, and I have to mend some fences. I'll stay out of your way. Dot stared a little too long at the woman on the porch, probably wondering at her outfit choices, then gave her a friendly wave of his hand. Have a nice day. Mary shooed the goats away. As expected, they followed Dot around the side of the house, trotting energetically as if there'd never been any trouble to begin with. Never a dull moment with 4 pygmy goats and an incorrigible dog living on your farm. Mary smiled at the woman. Would you like to come in and have a drink? The woman nodded, shifting her huge purse from one shoulder to the other. Just as soon as Esther catches up. Mary bloomed into a smile as she saw Esther Kiem climb out of the van parked in front of the house. Esther cradled her new baby in one arm, while her other hand held tightly to her daughter Winnie's wrist. Esther! Mary ran to her friend and grabbed the baby from her arms, burying her face in the folds of the bubbly's sweet-smelling neck. Ugh, Esther, he's just adorable. Look at those cheeks. Esther laughed. Only 4 weeks old and already a double chin. Mary smiled to herself. Esther had a habit of tucking strange things behind her ear for safekeeping, and today, just under her cup, a baby binky hung from the top of her ear like a bucket hanging from a hook. Mary pointed to the binky. That's something I haven't seen before. Esther curled one side of her mouth and fingered the binky at her ear. Ugh, I keep misplacing Levi Jr.'s binkies. This way, I always know where at least one is. Even though Esther was 6 years older than Mary and married with a family of her own, she was one of Mary's closest friends and one of the finest quilters in Colorado. Her quilting skill was the reason Mary had invited her over today. Winnie, Esther's 3-year-old daughter, skipped to the porch and wrapped her arms around the old woman's yellow leg. Esther pointed at the woman. Mary, this is Kathy Larson. She drives a lot of Amish around town, and she's also a master quilter. That's why I asked her to come today. Kathy patted Winnie's head. I wasn't thinking straight, or I would have got back in the car instead of letting those goats chase me around your yard. I think I pulled a hamstring. Mary drew her brows together. Ugh, I'm sorry. Come in the house and rest. Kathy waved away that suggestion. I can rest when I'm dead. I came to talk quilting. Mary liked that idea. She opened the door and herded everyone into the great room. Please sit. I'll fetch the others. Mary quickly ran upstairs and stuck her head in Beth's room. Beth, as usual, was lounging on her bed reading a book. Beth, Esther is here to talk about our quilt. Beth didn't even look up. Okay, I'm coming. Beth was the youngest of the Yoder Schwestern, and the prettiest. At least Mary thought so. All 3 of her sisters were much prettier than Mary was, even though great-grandmother Beulah kept insisting that Mary was the prettiest of them all, and that she would have no trouble finding a husband. But such talk only made Mary anxious and unhappy. She panicked at the thought of even talking to a boy, and the pressure to be entertaining and charming enough to snag a husband made her heart race and her chest tighten. At 28 years old, Mary hoped she was finally too old to attract attention from any boys in the district. She'd much rather spend her time caring for Dot, Dot's dog Pepper, their old horse Patty, and the 4 goats that roamed their farm like stray cats. Mary would gladly let her sisters attract all the attention, and all the suitors. There was too much for Mary to do on the farm to spend any time caring about boys and romance and marriage. Mary skipped downstairs to the kitchen, where Joanna was just popping a pan into the oven. I'll be right in, Joanna said, closing the oven door, then setting the timer. I thought our guests might enjoy a piece of coffee cake while we chat.